Admiral Hyunwoo stood on the bridge of the battleship Freedom's Light, watching the stars through the wide viewing window. The ship moved slowly through space near the edge of human territory. His officers worked quietly at their stations, checking sensors and communication systems. "Sir, we have movement on the long-range scanners," said Lieutenant Park. She looked up from her screen with worry in her eyes. Multiple ships approaching from the Vega sector. Hyunwoo walked over to look at the display. Dozens of red dots appeared on the star map, moving in perfect formation toward human space. The ships were large and moved with purpose. This was not a trade convoy or exploration fleet. "How many ships?" Hyunwoo asked. "Over 200, sir. They're bigger than our largest vessels. I've never seen ships like these before." Captain Do-hyun's voice came through the communication system from his reconnaissance ship New Seoul. "Admiral, we're getting a better look at these vessels. They have weapon systems I don't recognize. Heavy armor. These are warships, sir." Hyunwoo felt his stomach tighten. For 300 years, humans had expanded into space, building colonies on distant worlds. They had met other alien species before, but always smaller groups. Traders, explorers, refugees from wars in distant parts of the galaxy. This was something different. "Open a channel to Earth Command," Hyunwoo ordered. "Priority 1. Within minutes, the face of General Taemin appeared on the main screen. The older man looked tired but alert. Behind him, Hyunwoo could see the busy command center on Earth. "What's your status, Admiral?" General Taemin asked. "Sir, we have a large alien fleet approaching our border, over 200 ships. They appear to be military vessels. No response to our communication attempts yet." General Taemin was quiet for a moment. "Keep monitoring them. Do not engage unless they cross into our territory. I'm sending Ambassador Sojin to your location immediately." 3 hours later, Ambassador Sojin arrived aboard her diplomatic ship Peacemaker. She was a small woman with sharp eyes and a calm voice. She had spent years learning about alien cultures and languages. If anyone could talk to these newcomers, it was her. "Any change in their position?" she asked as she joined Hyunwoo on the bridge. "They've stopped just outside our border zone. They're waiting for something." "Have they tried to communicate?" "Not yet, but we're picking up lots of radio signals between their ships. They're definitely talking to each other." Ambassador Sojin nodded. "Let's see if we can talk to them." She walked to the communication station and began sending messages in different alien languages. She tried the common trade languages first, then older diplomatic codes. After an hour, they finally got a response. The main screen flickered and showed a tall, thin alien with gray skin and large black eyes. It wore a military uniform covered in medals and symbols. When it spoke, its voice was cold and commanding. "I am Admiral Kexthul of the Galactic Dominion. You will identify yourselves immediately." Ambassador Sojin stepped forward. "I am Ambassador Sojin, representing the human colonies. Welcome to our region of space. We're always happy to meet new civilizations." The alien admiral looked confused. "Human? We have no record of this species in our databases. What is your status within the Dominion?" "We're not part of any Dominion," Sojin replied calmly. "We're an independent species. These star systems belong to us." Admiral Kexthul's expression changed. His eyes narrowed and he leaned forward. "Impossible. All intelligent species in this galaxy belong to the Dominion. You must submit to our authority immediately." "I'm afraid that's not going to happen," Sojin said, still speaking in a friendly tone. "We govern ourselves, but we're happy to discuss trade agreements or cultural exchanges." The alien admiral was quiet for several seconds. Then he laughed, a harsh sound that made the humans on the bridge uncomfortable. "You think you have a choice in this matter? The Dominion has ruled this galaxy for thousands of years. We control 12 different species across millions of star systems. You are nothing compared to our power." Hyunwoo stepped beside the ambassador. "Then you should understand why we want to keep to ourselves. We're not interested in joining your empire. We just want to live in peace." "Peace." Admiral Kexthul's voice became angry. "Peace comes through order. Order comes through submission to the Dominion. You will surrender your worlds and your ships. Your people will be relocated to appropriate planets where they can serve the Empire. Ambassador Sojin shook her head. I'm sorry, but that will never happen. We've established clear boundaries around our territory. We ask that you respect those boundaries. Boundaries? The alien admiral looked shocked. You dare to set boundaries against the Dominion? Yes, Sojin said simply. We've marked a 50 light-year zone around all human space. We won't cross into your territory if you don't cross into ours. It's a fair arrangement. Admiral Kexthul stared at them for a long moment. Then he started laughing again. 50 light-years? You think you can claim 50 light-years of space? We could destroy your entire species with a single battle fleet. Maybe, Hyunwoo said. But you'd have to find us first, and you'd have to be willing to pay the price. The alien admiral stopped laughing. What price? The price of attacking people who just want to be left alone. Ambassador Sojin said. We're not threatening you. We're not trying to take your territory. We're simply asking for the right to exist in peace. Admiral Kexthul's image flickered as he turned to speak with someone off-screen. When he looked back at them, his expression was cold. The Dominion does not negotiate with lesser species. You have 1 week to surrender your weapons and prepare for integration into our empire. If you refuse, we will take your worlds by force. The communication ended abruptly. The bridge was silent for several minutes. Well, Ambassador Sojin said finally, that could have gone better. Hyunwoo activated the ship's communication system. All ships, this is Admiral Hyunwoo. Return to base immediately. We have work to do. As the human ships turned toward home, Captain Do-hyun's voice came through the speakers. Admiral, the alien fleet is moving. They're heading back the way they came. Good. Let them go report to their emperor. Sir, what do we do now? Hyunwoo looked out at the stars, thinking about the alien admiral's threats. Humans had been preparing for this day for a long time. They had hoped it would never come, but they were ready. Now we send a message to all human colonies, he said. Tell them the warning has been delivered, and activate Defense Protocol Alpha. Ambassador Sojin joined him at the window. Do you think they'll really attack us? Yes, Hyunwoo said quietly. They will. They can't imagine that anyone would refuse to join their empire. They'll see our independence as a threat to their authority. And are we ready? Hyunwoo smiled grimly. Ambassador, we've been ready for 300 years. We just hoped we'd never have to prove it. Far away in the center of the galaxy, Emperor Veltar received Admiral Kexthul's report. The massive alien ruler sat on his crystal throne, listening to the description of the humans' refusal to surrender. 50 light years? Emperor Veltar said, his voice echoing through the vast throne room. These creatures claim 50 light years of our galaxy? Yes, Your Majesty. They seem to believe they had the right to refuse our generous offer of membership in the Dominion. Emperor Veltar stood up, his enormous form casting shadows across the room. Prepare the third battle fleet. We will show these humans what happens to species that defy the Dominion. How many ships should we send, Your Majesty? All of them. Every ship in the third fleet. We'll make an example of these humans that the entire galaxy will remember. Admiral Kexthul bowed. It will be done, Your Majesty. Should we attempt to capture any of them alive for study? No. Emperor Veltar said coldly. Destroy them all. Wipe their species from existence. Let the galaxy see what happens to those who refuse the Dominion's authority. As the Emperor's orders spread through the vast alien empire, warships began moving toward human space. The Dominion had spoken. The humans had been warned. Now there would be war. Commander Jinho walked through the corridors of his destroyer Busan Pride, checking on his crew. The ship was small compared to the massive alien vessels they had seen, but it was fast and well-armed. More importantly, it was crewed by humans who understood what they were fighting for. Sir, we're picking up movement on the edge of the Tau Ceti system, reported Ensign Lee from the bridge. Multiple contacts approaching our patrol zone. Jinho hurried to the bridge and looked at the tactical display. Red dots filled the screen, moving in perfect formation toward the human research station orbiting Tau Ceti Prime. There were so many ships that the computer had trouble counting them all. "How many?" Jinho asked. "Over 200 confirmed, sir. Possibly more behind them. They're big ships, heavily armed." Jinho activated the communication system. "This is Commander Jinho to all ships in Patrol Group 7. Form defensive positions around the research station. Do not fire unless fired upon." The human patrol group consisted of 12 ships. Against 200 alien warships, they were badly outnumbered. But they had their orders. Protect the civilians and try to avoid starting a war if possible. Dr. Yunji was aboard the research vessel Harmony, studying alien plant samples from a nearby world. She was a xenobiologist, more interested in discovering new forms of life than fighting wars. When the alarm sounded, she looked up from her microscope in confusion. "What's happening?" she asked her assistant. "Unknown ships approaching the system. Military vessels. We're being ordered to prepare for possible evacuation." Dr. Yunji felt her heart racing. She had heard about the alien empire that claimed to rule the galaxy. Most humans hoped they would never have to deal with such a powerful enemy. It seemed that hope was about to be crushed. On the bridge of the Harmony, Captain Park received a message from Commander Jinho. "All civilian ships are to move behind the patrol group immediately. Stay close to us and be ready to jump to hyperspace on my command." The research ship began moving toward the human warships, along with 2 other civilian vessels that had been working in the system. Dr. Yunji watched through a porthole as the alien fleet approached. The ships were enormous, each one larger than any human vessel she had ever seen. They moved with the confidence of a force that had never been defeated. Commander Jinho opened a communication channel as the alien ships entered the Tau Ceti system. "Unknown vessels, this is Commander Jinho of the Human Defense Force. You are entering human territory. Please state your intentions." The response came quickly. Admiral Kexthal's face appeared on the main screen, looking even more arrogant than before. "Human Commander, I am Admiral Kexthal of the Galactic Dominion 3rd Battle Fleet. Your time for surrender has expired. Admiral, we are a peaceful patrol group protecting civilian researchers. We have no hostile intentions toward your empire. Your intentions are irrelevant. You have refused to submit to the Dominion. That makes you enemies of the Galactic Order." Commander Jinho tried to stay calm. "We're willing to discuss this. There's no need for violence." Admiral Kexthal laughed. "The time for discussion has passed. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed. I can't surrender my ships without orders from Earth Command. Let me contact my superiors. You have 5 minutes." Jinho quickly sent a message to Admiral Hyunwoo explaining the situation. The response came back within minutes. "Do not surrender. Protect the civilians and withdraw if possible. Earth stands behind our territorial claims." Commander Jinho looked at his crew. They were scared but determined. These men and women had joined the Defense Force to protect human colonies. Today they would have to prove they were ready for that responsibility. "Admiral Kexthal," Jinho said over the communication channel, "I cannot surrender my ships. However, we are willing to withdraw from this system if you allow the civilian vessels to leave safely." The alien admiral's expression turned cold. "Unacceptable. All human ships will surrender or be destroyed." "Then we have nothing more to discuss." "Admiral," Kexthal cut the communication. For several minutes, both fleets faced each other in tense silence. The human ships looked tiny compared to the massive alien warships surrounding them. Dr. Yunji watched from the Harmony as the alien ships began to spread out, surrounding the human patrol group. She had spent her life studying how different species adapted to survive in hostile environments. Now she was about to see how humans would adapt to this situation. Without warning, the alien ships opened fire. Bright energy beams lanced through space, striking the human destroyer closest to the alien fleet. The ship's shields flared and died. Within seconds, more beams followed, tearing through the hull. The destroyer exploded in a ball of flame and debris. "All ships, evasive maneuvers," Commander Jinho shouted. "Get the civilians out of here." The human ships scattered, trying to avoid the devastating alien weapons. The Busan Pride twisted and turned through space, its smaller size allowing it to dodge some of the incoming fire. But the aliens had too many ships and too much firepower. Dr. Yunji felt the Harmony shaking as the captain pushed the engines to maximum power. Through the porthole, she could see explosions lighting up space as human ships fought desperately against impossible odds. "They're targeting us specifically," the ship's captain said over the intercom. "The aliens are going after the civilian vessels first." Dr. Yunji realized what this meant. The aliens weren't just trying to win a military victory. They were trying to kill as many humans as possible, including non-combatants. This wasn't war. This was attempted genocide. She rushed to the communication station and began recording a message. "This is Dr. Yunji aboard the research vessel Harmony. The alien fleet has opened fire on civilian ships without provocation. They are targeting non-military vessels first. We tried to negotiate. We offered to withdraw. They refused all peaceful solutions." An explosion nearby shook the ship violently. Dr. Yunji could hear the hull groaning under the stress. Through the porthole, she saw the Busan Pride fighting desperately against 5 alien ships at once. "They're killing civilians," she continued recording. "Research scientists, engineers, people who never hurt anyone. Tell Earth, tell everyone. We tried to avoid this war." Another blast struck the Harmony. The lights went out and emergency power kicked in. Dr. Yunji could hear the captain shouting orders, trying to save his ship and crew. Commander Jin Ho's voice came over the communication system. "All remaining ships jump to hyperspace immediately. That's an order." But it was too late for the Harmony. The research ship's engines had been damaged. It was moving too slowly to escape. Dr. Yunji watched through the porthole as an enormous alien battleship turned toward them, its weapons charging for a final strike. "This is Dr. Yunji," she said into the recorder. "If anyone receives this message, remember that we died trying to protect innocent people. Remember that the Dominion fired first. Remember that they could have chosen peace. The alien weapons fired." The Harmony disappeared in a flash of light. Commander Jin Ho saw the research ship die and felt rage building inside him. 3 of his destroyers were gone. Both civilian ships had been destroyed. His remaining ships were badly damaged and surrounded by enemies. "Sir, we can still jump to hyperspace," his navigator reported. "But we have to go now." Jin Ho looked at the tactical display. The alien fleet was positioning itself to move deeper into human space. If they left now, these ships would attack. "Human colonies with no warning. Send a priority message to Earth Command," he ordered. "Tell them the aliens opened fire on civilian ships. Tell them this is a war of extermination, not conquest." The message streaked through hyperspace toward Earth as the surviving human ships jumped away from the battle zone. Behind them, Admiral Kexathol's fleet began moving toward the nearest human colony. On Earth, Admiral Hyunwoo received Commander Jin Ho's report. He read it twice, then walked to the window of his office. Outside, he could see the lights of cities stretching to the horizon. Billions of humans lived on Earth and the colony worlds, going about their daily lives, unaware that an alien empire had just declared war on their entire species. "General Taemin," he said into his communicator, "we need to talk immediately." Within an hour, the top human military leaders were gathered in the secure command center beneath Earth's capital. The room was filled with holographic displays showing the positions of human colonies throughout their territory. "They killed civilians first," General Taemin said after reading the battle report. "Research scientists who were studying plants. They specifically targeted non-combatants. It's a terror tactic," said Admiral Hyunwoo. "They want to frighten our colonies into surrendering without a fight." "How many ships do they have?" asked General Park. "According to our intelligence, the Galactic Dominion has over 50,000 warships spread across the galaxy. They could send 10,000 ships against us and still have plenty left over." The room was quiet as the military leaders absorbed this information. 50,000 ships against humanity's 400. The odds were worse than anyone had imagined. "Sir," said Colonel Kim, "what are our orders?" General Taemin stood up and walked to the largest holographic display. It showed all of human space, with red arrows indicating the probable direction of the alien attack. Engineer Hay-1 stood in the massive underground facility beneath the surface of Mars. The cavern stretched for kilometers in every direction, filled with machinery and weapons that had been built in secret over the past century. Workers moved quickly between the assembly lines, putting final touches on humanity's hidden defense systems. "Status report," she called to her team leaders. "Section Alpha is ready for deployment," reported Technician Young-Ho. "All orbital platforms are online and waiting for activation codes. Section Beta confirms all asteroid mining stations have been converted," added Specialist Nari. "They're broadcasting normal mining signals but ready to switch to combat mode." Hay-1 nodded with satisfaction. For 3 generations, human engineers had been preparing for this day. While the galaxy saw humans as peaceful explorers and traders, they had actually been turning every colony, every space station, every asteroid mine into a potential weapon. "What about the fleet modifications?" she asked. "Complete," said Engineer Dongwook. "Every ship in our fleet can now reconfigure for different mission types. The aliens think they're fighting 400 ships. They have no idea what they're really facing." Above them on the surface, General Taemin received reports from human colonies throughout their territory. The Galactic Dominion had been busy. Massive alien fleets were approaching 12 different star systems, clearly planning a coordinated attack to overwhelm human defenses. "They're using standard Imperial tactics," observed Admiral Hyun-woo as he studied the tactical displays. "Overwhelming force applied to multiple targets simultaneously. It's how they've conquered every other species they've encountered." "How long until they reach our outer colonies?" asked General Taemin. "The first attacks will begin in 6 hours. They're hitting the Proxima, Wolf, and Barnard systems simultaneously." Captain Minsu was aboard the battleship Incheon Thunder, leading a small squadron toward the Proxima system. His ships looked normal from the outside, but inside they had been completely rebuilt with modular technology that allowed rapid reconfiguration. "Sir, we're picking up the Dominion fleet on long-range sensors," reported his tactical officer. 50 ships, heavy cruiser class and above." "How many ships do we have in the system?" Minsu asked. 12, sir, including 2 civilian transports." Minsu smiled. "Excellent. Signal the transports to begin their approach runs." The tactical officer looked confused. "Sir, shouldn't the civilian ships be evacuating?" "Lieutenant, those aren't really civilian ships anymore." As the alien fleet entered the Proxima system, they saw exactly what they expected. A small group of human warships defending a planet with several million colonists. The human ships looked primitive compared to Dominion technology, and they were badly outnumbered. Admiral Zeknor, commanding the Dominion fleet, opened a communication channel. "Human vessels, surrender immediately and your deaths will be quick." Captain Minsu responded calmly. "We decline your generous offer. Then you will die slowly." The alien ships moved into attack formation, confident of an easy victory. They had destroyed the human patrol at Tau Ceti without losing a single ship. This would be even easier. The first sign that something was wrong came when the human ships suddenly changed shape. The Incheon Thunder split into 3 separate vessels, each one specialized for a different type of combat. The other human ships underwent similar transformations, creating a fleet of 36 specialized warships where there had been 12 general-purpose vessels moments before. "What is this?" Admiral Zeknor demanded. "How are they doing that?" Before anyone could answer, the 2 civilian transports revealed their true nature. Cargo bay doors opened to release swarms of fighter craft, while hidden weapon systems emerged from their hulls. The transports weren't really transport ships at all. They were mobile carriers designed to look harmless until the moment of attack. Lieutenant, Yuri led a squadron of fighters from one of the carriers. Her ship was smaller than a Dominion fighter but much more maneuverable. As the alien fighters moved to intercept her, she demonstrated why human pilots were different from other species. "Remember your training," she told her squadron. "We don't fight fair, we fight to win." Yuri's fighter suddenly changed configuration, transforming from a speed-oriented interceptor into a heavily armed attack craft. She dove toward the largest alien ship, dodging defensive fire with impossible twists and turns. The Dominion pilots tried to follow her maneuvers, but couldn't match the human fighter's agility. Yuri's ship seemed to ignore the laws of physics, making turns that should have killed their pilots. "How are they surviving those accelerations?" demanded the alien flight leader. What the aliens didn't know was that human fighters used inertial dampening fields that allowed pilots to withstand forces that would crush other species. Humans had spent centuries learning to adapt to hostile environments. Now they were applying that knowledge to space combat. Captain Minsu watched the battle from his command ship. The alien fleet was larger and more powerful, but they had no experience fighting an enemy that could change tactics in the middle of battle. "Target their command ship," he ordered. All specialized attack craft focus fire on the flagship. 18 small attack ships, transformed from 6 original vessels, swarmed around the alien flagship. Their weapons were designed specifically to penetrate heavy armor, and they attacked from multiple angles simultaneously. Admiral Zeknor watched in shock as his flagship's shields failed under the concentrated assault. "How is this possible? They're using primitive technology." "Sir, our weapons can't lock onto their ships," reported his tactical officer. "They're using some kind of stealth system we've never seen before." What the aliens were seeing wasn't stealth technology. It was human ingenuity. The human ships were coating themselves with debris from destroyed asteroids, making them nearly invisible to Dominion sensors designed to track clean metallic surfaces. "All ships, focus fire on the human planet," Admiral Zeknor ordered in desperation. "If we can't destroy their ships, we'll destroy their world." This was exactly what Captain Minsu had been waiting for. As the alien ships turned toward Proxima Prime, they moved into the killing zone. Hidden throughout the asteroid belt were mining stations that had been secretly converted into weapon platforms. What looked like ordinary mining equipment was actually a network of railguns, missile launchers, and energy weapons. "Now," Minsu said quietly. The asteroid belt came alive with weapons fire. Dozens of hidden platforms opened fire simultaneously, catching the alien fleet in a crossfire they never saw coming. Ships that had been invisible moments before suddenly revealed themselves as they launched devastating attacks. Admiral Zeknor's fleet found themselves trapped between the human ships in front of them and the weapon platforms behind them. Worse, more human ships were arriving from other systems, having used hyperspace routes the aliens didn't know existed. "Sir, we're being surrounded," his tactical officer reported. "How did they move ships so quickly?" The answer was simple but unthinkable to the Dominion mind. Humans had spent 3 centuries building hidden hyperspace routes between their colonies. What looked like a network of isolated settlements was actually a highly integrated defense system. "Retreat," Admiral Zeknor ordered. "Signal all ships to withdraw immediately." But it was too late. The human ships had positioned themselves to cut off the alien escape routes. Captain Minsu's voice came over the communication channel. "Admiral Zeknor, you came to our system uninvited. You threatened our civilians. You can surrender now, or you can die here. The Dominion does not surrender to inferior species. Then, you'll die as inferior tacticians." The battle was over within an hour. 50 Dominion warships had been destroyed or captured by what they thought was a small human patrol group. Only 3 alien ships escaped to tell the tale. Similar scenes played out in the Wolf and Barnard systems. Human colonies that appeared defenseless revealed themselves to be fortified positions. Human ships that seemed outnumbered transformed into specialized fleets. Weapon platforms that had been hidden for decades emerged from asteroid fields and planetary rings. Emperor Veltar received the reports in his throne room, reading them with growing disbelief. "How many ships did we lose?" 147 vessels, Your Majesty, from 3 different fleets." "And how many human ships were destroyed?" According to the surviving commanders, approximately 30 human vessels were confirmed destroyed. Emperor Veltar stood up, his massive form trembling with rage. 147 of our ships for 30 of theirs? This is impossible. Your Majesty, the humans appear to have been hiding their true military capabilities. Their ships can transform during battle. Their colonies are heavily fortified. They have weapon systems we've never encountered before. You're telling me that these primitive creatures have been lying to us about their military strength? It appears so, Your Majesty. Emperor Veltar began pacing back and forth, his heavy footsteps echoing through the throne room. For thousands of years, the Dominion had conquered species by using overwhelming force against their military installations. No species had ever hidden their true strength or used deceptive tactics on this scale. Prepare the Second Fleet, he commanded. All 5,000 ships. Admiral Kyung-Soo stood in the command center of the battle station Terra Shield, watching as 5,000 Dominion warships approached human space. The alien fleet was massive, stretching across several light years in a formation designed to overwhelm any defense. Sir, the enemy fleet will reach our outer defenses in 12 hours, reported Captain Jae-sung from his stealth ship Shadow of Earth. They're coming in 3 waves. Heavy battleships first, followed by carriers, then support vessels. Any sign they've learned from their previous defeats? Kyung-Soo asked. They're being more cautious this time, staying in tight formation, scanning constantly for hidden weapon platforms, but they're still using standard Imperial tactics. Kyung-Soo smiled. Good. That means they still don't understand what they're really fighting. Specialist Bo-Ra was monitoring communications from across Dominion space. As the Empire's propaganda minister tried to explain away their recent defeats, she had been broadcasting the truth to every species under Imperial rule. Sir, we're getting responses from 17 different species, she reported. They want to know more about our defensive methods. 3 species are asking if we can help them resist Dominion occupation forces. What are you telling them? The truth, that the Dominion has been lying about their invincibility, that species don't have to surrender just because the Empire demands it. Bo-Ra's broadcasts were having an effect throughout the galaxy. Species that had submitted to Dominion rule were beginning to question whether they had to stay conquered. Resistance movements were forming on dozens of worlds. Emperor Veltar was furious about these developments. How are these humans spreading propaganda throughout our empire? They appear to have infiltrated our communication networks, Your Majesty. Every time we block one transmission method, they find another. Find them and stop them. We've tried, Your Majesty. Their transmissions are coming from locations throughout our territory. Either they have agents everywhere or they've been preparing for this war much longer than we realized. Colonel Sung-ho was leading a ground assault team on one of the Dominion supply depot worlds. His soldiers moved through the alien base like ghosts, disabling security systems and destroying weapon stockpiles. How are we even breathing here? Asked Sergeant Yanwu, looking around at the alien atmosphere. Modified respiratory systems, Sung-ho replied. We can fight on any world the enemy uses. They can't fight on most of ours. This was another advantage the Dominion hadn't expected. Humans had spent centuries adapting to hostile environments. They could operate on worlds with different atmospheres, gravity levels, and radiation conditions. The aliens were discovering that their supply bases weren't safe anywhere. Sir, we've destroyed their ammunition depot, reported Corporal Inho, moving to the fuel storage facility. Make it quick. We have 12 more bases to hit before dawn. Captain Jae-sung's stealth ship Shadow of Earth materialized inside the Dominion fleet's communication array. The aliens had no idea he was there until his ship began broadcasting on all their frequencies. Attention Dominion forces, he said calmly. This is Captain Jae-sung of the Human Defense Force. You have entered our territory with hostile intent. You have approximately 1 hour to withdraw before we begin our counterattack. Admiral Thexkal, commanding the Dominion Second Fleet, was shocked to discover an enemy ship inside his formation. How did you get past our sensors? Trade secret, Jae-sung replied. But I wanted to give you one last chance to avoid unnecessary casualties. You're surrounded by 5,000 warships. Surrender immediately. I don't think you understand the situation. You're not surrounding me. You're trapped in our territory. Admiral Thexkal ordered his ships to fire on the human vessel, but the Shadow of Earth had already vanished. The stealth ship reappeared, outside the fleet formation completely unharmed. 1 hour, Jae-sung repeated. Use it wisely. The Dominion fleet continued toward the nearest human colony, confident that no defense could stop 5,000 ships. They had learned to watch for hidden weapon platforms and transforming ships, but they believed their overwhelming numbers would ensure victory. Admiral Kyung-soo waited until the alien fleet reached the coordinates he had been hoping for. Enemy ships were spread across a wide area, trying to avoid concentrated defenses. This put them exactly where he wanted them. All stations, this is Admiral Kyung-soo. Execute Operation Wildfire. What happened next shocked the Dominion fleet beyond anything they had imagined possible. The space around their ship suddenly filled with mines. Not ordinary mines that could be detected by sensors, but devices that had been disguised as space debris, asteroids, even cosmic dust. Thousands of hidden weapons that had been floating in space for decades waiting for this moment. "Impossible!" Admiral Thexcal shouted. "Our sensors detected nothing." "Sir, the mines are activating throughout the fleet. They're everywhere." The hidden weapons began attacking simultaneously. Some were traditional explosive devices, but others released clouds of nanobots that ate through ship hulls. Still others projected electromagnetic fields that disabled alien electronics. But this was only the beginning. As the Dominion ships struggled to deal with the mine attacks, the space around them began to change. What had looked like empty space revealed itself to be filled with cloaked human ships. "Sir, new contacts appearing everywhere," reported the alien sensor operator. "Hundreds of ships, where did they come from?" The answer was that they had been there all along. Human ships coated with stealth materials and powered down to minimal levels had been drifting in space like debris. Now they powered up and revealed themselves as a second fleet equal in size to the human forces the aliens had expected to face. Admiral Kyung-soo's voice came over the communication channel. "Admiral Thexcal, you should have listened to Captain Jae-sung. Now you're about to learn why humans mark our territory as forbidden." The battle that followed was unlike anything the Dominion had ever experienced. Human ships attacked from every direction, using tactics no Imperial Academy had ever taught. They coordinated their strikes with the hidden minefields, creating killing zones throughout the alien formation. Lieutenant Yuri led her fighter squadron in attacks on the alien carriers. Her ships had been modified again, this time for operations, in the complex debris field created by the mine explosions. "Squadron leaders, remember your training," she called over the communication system. "Use the debris as cover. Make them fight our kind of battle." The human fighters darted between chunks of destroyed alien ships, using the wreckage to hide from defensive fire. They struck quickly and vanished before the enemy could respond. "How are they flying through this debris field?" demanded the alien flight leader. "Our fighters can't maneuver safely in this environment." "Then stay out of it," Yuri replied over an open channel. "This is our space, we know how to fight here." Captain Minsu's battleship Incheon Thunder led a group of heavy assault ships against the alien command vessels. His ships had been reconfigured for close-range combat, sacrificing speed for armor and firepower. "Target their flagship," he ordered. "All ships, concentrated fire." The alien flagship was enormous, larger than any human vessel, but it had been designed to fight enemies that used conventional tactics. When 30 human ships attacked it simultaneously from 6 different directions, its defenses were overwhelmed. "Sir, the flagship is disabled," reported his tactical officer. "Admiral Thexcal is requesting permission to surrender." "Tell him, surrender requests must be directed to Admiral Kyung-soo," Min-soo replied. "We're just the welcoming committee." Throughout the battle zone, Dominion ships found themselves outfought and outmaneuvered by forces they couldn't understand. Every time they adapted to one human tactic, the humans switched to something completely different. Captain Jae-sung's stealth ship reappeared inside another section of the alien fleet. "This is your second warning," he announced. "Withdraw immediately, or face complete destruction." By now, Admiral Thexcal had lost over 1,000 ships. His perfect formation had been shattered. His command structure was falling apart as human forces struck at communication relays and command ships. "How is this possible?" he demanded of his surviving officers. "They can't have this many ships. Our intelligence said they only had 400 vessels." "Sir, I think they've been hiding their true fleet size for centuries," his tactical officer replied. "Every ship we destroy seems to be replaced by 2 more. What the aliens didn't know was that humans had been building ships in hidden shipyards for generations. Asteroid bases, underground facilities, mobile construction ships disguised as cargo haulers. The human fleet wasn't 400 ships. It was thousands of ships, most of which had never been seen by outside observers. "Sir, we're receiving communications from several of our member species," reported the alien communication officer. They're asking if the humans need allies." Admiral Thexkal stared at him in disbelief. "Our own member species are offering to help the enemy?" "It appears so, sir. They're saying the humans have proven that the Dominion can be defeated. Specialist Bora's propaganda campaign was working. Species throughout the galaxy were watching the battle and realizing that the mighty Dominion could be beaten." Fleet Admiral Dong Jun stood on the bridge of the massive space station orbiting Earth, watching as 20,000 alien warships approached the Sol system. The Dominion had sent their entire fleet in one final attempt to destroy humanity. It was the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. "Sir, enemy fleet will reach our outer defenses in 4 hours," reported Captain Wu Jin from his flagship Terra Eternal. "They're coming in one massive formation. No subtlety this time." "They're angry," Dong Jun observed. "Emperor Veltar is putting everything he has into this attack. If we defeat this fleet, the Dominion Empire will collapse." President Na Young joined him on the observation deck. As the leader of the United Earth government, she had spent the last week evacuating civilian populations to secure underground facilities. "How many people are we protecting?" she asked. 40 billion humans across 300 worlds, Dong Jun replied, "plus about 2 billion aliens from species that have asked for our protection." "And if we lose?" "We won't lose. We've been preparing for this moment for 300 years. Emperor Veltar commanded the Dominion fleet personally, standing on the bridge of his enormous flagship Galactic Dominance. The ship was 10 kilometers long and carried enough firepower to destroy entire planets. "Finally," he said to his advisors, "we'll end this embarrassment. 20,000 ships against whatever pathetic defenses these humans have managed to build. Your Majesty, should we attempt to capture any humans alive for study? No. Kill them all. Destroy their worlds. Make sure no trace of their species survives. They have caused too much trouble for the Empire." As the alien fleet entered the Sol system, they saw exactly what they expected. Earth's orbital defenses, space stations, weapon platforms, and a few hundred human ships positioned to protect the homeworld. "Is that all?" Emperor Veltar laughed. "A few hundred ships to defend their entire species? Your Majesty, our intelligence suggests they have been hiding ships in other systems. This could be a trap. With 20,000 ships, it doesn't matter if it's a trap. We have enough firepower to destroy everything in this system 10 times over." The Dominion fleet began its attack approach, confident of total victory. They had learned from their previous defeats and were ready for hidden mines, transforming ships, and stealth attacks. But they weren't prepared for what actually happened. As the alien fleet reached the edge of the asteroid belt, space around them began to change. What they had taken for ordinary asteroids suddenly revealed themselves to be massive weapon platforms. "Sir, the asteroids are activating," shouted the alien sensor operator. "They're not asteroids at all." Admiral Dong Jun had turned the entire asteroid belt into a weapon system. Hundreds of rocks that looked natural were actually camouflaged battle stations, each one larger than a Dominion battleship. "Fire," Dong Jun said calmly. The asteroid belt erupted with weapons fire. Energy beams and missile salvos struck the alien fleet from every direction. The Dominion ships found themselves trapped in a crossfire that stretched across millions of kilometers. But this was still only the beginning. Emperor Veltar watched in shock as his outer ships were destroyed by the asteroid weapons. "How many battle stations do they have hidden out there?" "Unknown, Your Majesty. Our sensors are detecting weapons fire from over 300 different locations." "Continue the attack. We still outnumber them." The Dominion fleet pushed deeper into the Sol system, taking heavy losses but maintaining their formation. "Emperor, Veltar was determined to reach Earth and destroy it no matter what the cost." That's when Mars revealed its secret. The red planet's surface suddenly split open in dozens of locations. Massive doors that had been hidden for centuries opened to reveal underground shipyards. From each opening came streams of human warships that had been built in secret beneath the planet's surface. "Impossible!" Emperor Veltar screamed. "How? Many ships do they have?" Captain Wu Jin led the first wave of ships emerging from Mars. The Terra Eternal was larger than any human ship the aliens had seen before, and it was followed by hundreds of similar vessels. "This is Captain Wu Jin. To all Martian Defense Forces," he announced. "Deploy according to Plan Omega. Show them what we've been building." The ships emerging from Mars were different from the earlier human vessels. These had been designed specifically for this battle, incorporating everything humans had learned about Dominion technology and tactics. "Sir, the human ships are using weapons we've never seen before," reported the alien tactical officer. "Our shields are useless against them." "How is that possible?" "They appear to have been studying our technology for decades. They know exactly how to defeat our defenses." President Na Young watched the battle from the command center deep beneath Earth's surface. "How many ships did we launch from Mars?" 2,000 so far, reported Admiral Dongjun, "with more coming every minute." "And the moon?" "Ready to deploy on your command." Emperor Veltar pushed his fleet toward Earth, determined to destroy the human homeworld even if it cost him his entire navy. His ships fought desperately against the human forces, but they were taking massive casualties. "Your Majesty, we've lost half our fleet," his admiral reported. "Perhaps we should consider retreat." "Never. Continue the attack. We must reach Earth." That's when Earth's moon revealed its true nature. The lunar surface began to move, rotating to reveal enormous weapon systems hidden beneath fake craters and mountains. The entire moon was actually a gigantic battle station that had been under construction for 2 centuries. "What is that?" Emperor Veltar whispered. The moon opened fire with weapons larger than anything in the Dominion arsenal. Energy beams as wide as city blocks struck the alien flagship, cutting through its shields, like they were made of paper. "Your Majesty, the moon is a weapon!" the tactical officer screamed. "The entire moon is one massive battle station!" Fleet Admiral Dongjun's voice came over the communication system. "Emperor Veltar, you have entered the Sol system with the intent to commit genocide against the human species. We cannot allow that." "Impossible. You're just one primitive species. You can't have weapons like this." "We've had 300 years to prepare for this day. Every asteroid, every space station, every planet in our system has been turned into a fortress." "You're not attacking a world, Emperor. You're attacking a solar system that has been designed as a single integrated weapon." As if to prove his point, the outer planets began moving. Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune had been equipped with massive engines hidden beneath their atmospheric clouds. The giant planets began changing their orbits, repositioning themselves to create an inescapable trap around the alien fleet. "The planets are moving," Emperor Veltar's navigator reported in panic. "They're surrounding us." Captain Wu Jin led his ship in a direct assault on the alien flagship. The Terra Eternal had been specifically designed to fight ships like the Galactic dominance, and it cut through the alien vessel's defenses with precision strikes. "This is for Dr. Yunji and all the civilians you murdered," he said as his weapons tore into the enemy ship. Emperor Veltar found himself trapped on a dying ship, surrounded by human forces he couldn't understand or defeat. His mighty fleet of 20,000 ships had been reduced to a few hundred survivors in a matter of hours. "How?" he whispered. "How is this possible?" President Na Young's voice came over the communication system, calm and clear. "We warned you, Emperor Veltar. We told you our territory was forbidden. We asked you to leave us in peace. You refused. You chose war. You chose to attack our civilians and threaten our children. Now you know the price of that choice. Few surviving Dominion ships found themselves completely surrounded. Earth itself began to reveal hidden weapon systems, while space stations throughout the solar system activated defenses that had been disguised as civilian installations. "Surrender," Fleet Admiral Dongjun ordered. "Your empire is broken. Your fleet is destroyed. There's no point in more death." Emperor Veltar looked around his ruined bridge, then at the displays showing the complete destruction of his forces. In a single battle, humanity had destroyed the largest fleet in galactic history. I surrender, he said finally. President Na Young addressed the galaxy using the same communication system that Specialist Bo-Ra had established. This is President Na Young of the United Earth Government. The Galactic Dominion fleet has been defeated. Emperor Veltar has surrendered unconditionally. She paused, looking out at the debris field that had once been an invasion fleet. To all species in the galaxy, the Dominion's reign of terror is over. You are free to govern yourselves as you choose. To the former member species of the Empire, we offer friendship and trade agreements, but we will never try to rule you. Your worlds belong to you. To any species that might think of taking the Dominion's place, remember what happened here. Remember that some territories are forbidden to conquerors. The message spread throughout the galaxy, carried by the network of communication relays that humans had secretly established over the decades. On hundreds of worlds, celebrations began as species realized they were finally free. Captain Wu Jin escorted Emperor Veltar to the human command station, where the former ruler would be held until decisions could be made about his fate. How long have you been planning this?